Hello, gentle listener, and welcome to another episode of We Read It One Night, the podcast where we talk about romance novels and why more people should be gay. In this episode, we're chatting about Bridgerton Season 3, Part 1. We dive into the rise of Polin, Cressida and Eloise's friendship, Lord Debling's tragic fate, why Cressida and Eloise are lesbians, the grim dystopia lurking outside of Bridgerton, London, and where Cressida and Eloise will live after they run away together to a Taylor Swift instrumental. Major spoilers for the season and for future Bridgerton books ahead. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. I got my nails done today for Dana's wedding. I got a pedicure too.
I was looking at pictures from graduation, like the shoes I asked you to send me. I think that's the first time when we got our pedicure, like I guess it's 2 years ago now. Like the first time, and I was like, wow, my feet actually do look really good. I never really saw the point of this, but like
she didn't manage to get all of my calluses. I didn't really realize until recently just how calloused my heels are. So I still have some calluses, but it's significantly better. She would have had to sit there scrubbing for 20 minutes for each foot if she was gonna get off all of them.
They make this. I saw it on TikTok and we got some. I'm not sure if it's actually doing anything because I don't do it enough for it to have an effect, but it's this urea cream that's supposed to, but I don't like it that much because it makes my feet sweat.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is I just really feel like if there's a prescription version, I just really feel like if you're not using the prescription version, the thing that you're doing doesn't actually do anything. It's like retinol versus retinoids. Retinoid is prescription and retinol is just basically a less concentrated version.
So wait, do you not use it anymore or do you get prescription?
I have a prescription retinoid. She started me on that so that I as this is the final step before I finally have to give in to Accutane and it just doesn't work.
Have you tried it's called One Exton or something? And get this, our insurance only covers the brand name one. So it costs $100 with of the copay. And they don't cover, but if we just paid out of pocket for the generic, it would be $170. And I was my immediate thought was there has to be some, there's some deal. They have some deal with the manufacturer. And I looked it up and yeah, there's that happens all the time. The brand name will be hey, we'll give you a rebate for each one you prescribe. And if you require this, but then you end up paying a ton more. I know there's a ProPublica investigation and I was reading about it and it was yeah, this must be shocking. But if this happens, it means someone's getting a benefit and it's not you. And I'm that's not shocking at all. That's exactly what I expect.
You're what? That's how our system works.
It's right. Or this, no, I just mean if this is what I'm seeing, obviously someone has to be benefiting. They wouldn't just require the brand name. That's ridiculous.
For shits and giggles. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how that's not
feel that should be illegal.
Or something. Yeah. It really, really
that feels a monopoly. That feels whatever.
It's antitrust. I know. The problem is that the problem, you can thank the Chicago School of Economics.
The problem is we need to resurrect Teddy Roosevelt and get some trust-busting accent. Trust bust. Gotta bring that back.
Stick and trust bust. Walk tall and
softly, carry a big stick and use the stick to bust trust.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's also similar to a trust, the British aristocracy.
Absolutely. It very much is a land trust.
The British aristocracy, the landed gentry.
Yeah. I'm excited to talk about this, but for almost not at all about the main couple.
Oh, no. Okay. So So hello, listener. Welcome. We're doing Bridgerton Season 3, Part 2.
Part 1.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
They released 4 episodes, then they're releasing 4 in June.
That's so stupid. That's so.
I know. It really is. Although, honestly, it's keeping me engaged. I get it. It's working. And I don't really feel the edge of my seat because I already read the books.
I was less engaged this season than I have been the previous 2. I'm not quite sure why.
Well, maybe they anticipated that and they were let's keep people a little bit more engaged by splitting it up.
Maybe.
3/4 through the last episode, I was I just don't have no idea what the second part is going to be. It seems everything's wrapped up. And then I remember that he doesn't know that she's Lady Whistledown.
He's got to find out. And they've upped the ante. They've upped the ante a little bit this season. Because he's vowed to bring down Lady Whistledown, which I liked. I liked that they added in the book, the conflict was that she was Lady Whistledown, but it was less that like he had a deep personal hatred for Lady Whistledown and more that he was like jealous
Helping her. Oh.
that Penelope was like a successful writer and he wanted to be a successful like, and because
Oh,
they,
that's fucking
they also have
stupid.
kept like Colin's silly little travel things,
Yeah.
in the show
Yes.
too. Like he was like jealous. And then there was like a note of like
That's so
he's like
fucking
obviously
dumb.
worried about what's gonna happen to her, like when everybody finds out.
All I remembered was like us talking about it and being like, oh, he's like immediately on board with like helping her keep the secret. Like he's loyal in that sense, which doesn't seem, this Colin does not seem like
No.
he's going to be like, but speaking of this Colin, and my first impression when I saw him was like, wow, like they really glowed him up. Like he looks way less nuggety. Like I don't know what it is. He's like clean shaven. His hair is way better. And then I told you that and you were like, oh, everyone else has immediately texted me and said how much uglier he looks.
I got two texts within the span of like 5 minutes. And it was, yeah, you were like, wow, he's so much better. And then my friend was like, what the fuck? Colin's so ugly.
He was always ugly. And honestly, I mean, he's still not like,
I
a
mean,
paragon
listen,
of,
I can see how he would be someone's type. He's not my type, but I don't want to. I've heard that the actor is actually getting a lot of like online bullying for like being too ugly, like to be the
no,
lead.
I
You
mean,
know
he's
what
a
I mean?
man.
And like, I think some people are like fat shaming him some way, which is crazy because like he has like a six pack and whatever.
Right. It seemed like they made him pull like a Taylor Lautner in
Oh,
Twilight
they
and like forced him
absolutely
to like actually
did.
work out. Yeah.
I mean, Jonathan Bailey did that too for Anthony. I get that.
Well, what I was struck with the most, how much they made all the brothers look alike. I mean, we've always said that, but like they really like pulled it together. Like, see that carriage scene where they're in there with Gregory. They so look like brothers. Like they did a really good job at that. And maybe I'm just like fooled. Maybe I'm just fooled by hair and skin tone. Like all men like this. Yeah.
I think they did a good job with the Francesca casting. I mean, I already thought that before the
Yes.
season, but the new actress I think looks enough like the previous actress and also looks like
Oh. Oh,
I
she
think they
looks
have
nothing.
similar
She looks
face shapes.
nothing like the previous actress, but she looks exactly like Daphne,
She
which
does
would
look
be
very
more.
similar to
She looks
Daphne.
exactly like Daphne, which I didn't realize. At first, I was like, oh, she looks nothing like the Bridgerton family because she doesn't look like Eloise and the boys. But then I remember that Daphne exists, even though she's not apparently appearing,
Yeah.
which I think is really stupid. But no, she looks nothing like the old Francesca. Their face shapes are nothing like. What are you
I
talking about?
disagree. I think the old Francesca, she just still has a lot of baby fat,
Yeah.
but I think if you look at like like her bone structure, I think especially their
Um,
jaw lines are similar.
I also don't think it matters because we
No, it
didn't
doesn't
see the old
matter
Francesca
because right,
ever.
they made a little reference. Anthony was like, "Oh, those piano lessons in Bath, they're paying off."
I know. Like explaining it. I know. Yeah, she looks nothing like her else. No, I don't know what you're talking
No,
about.
I disagree. I don't know. I see vibes.
No. Anyway, I only like I even had the thought of like, oh, she looks nothing like her because we accidentally started playing season one at
Mm.
first. Like, and Callie tried to gaslight me into like, this is new, this is new. And I was like, I don't know. Then they're like very much paralleling because they
You were
kind of did
like,
that with the second
"That's
season. They had
Daphne."
someone right. They did it with the third one too. Like they had someone else coming out. Yeah, I was like, that is not.
Also, the new Francesca like walks out with like a full face, like a full beat, like the makeup, they just like fully gave up on like any sort of like
Period
subtle
appropriate.
makeup. They were
Yeah,
like,
that's
absolutely
fine.
not. Like
That's fine.
Francesca has seen an iPhone. Like,
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with that because I know she has like the Keira Knightley like bone structure and face kind of like that
no,
kind of
I
like
know,
which
but they
everyone
gave her a
else
full beat. No, no, I mean
what's
her
that?
makeup.
Oh,
The
okay,
way that they
sure.
did her makeup is
Okay,
is the
whatever.
makeup of someone who's seen an iPhone. But I
Mm,
think that actress is a good period actress. I think she has a face for period
mm,
pieces. But the way they did her
mhm.
makeup is
The other
not.
thing that immediately stood out to me was the costumes, like especially in the first episode, like top notch. I like really loved it. The detailing was like so much higher. Did you notice that? Like on everyone's, even the
I
extras.
know that everyone has been saying that, but I really did
Really?
not notice a difference. Everyone, you know
Mm,
what a lot of people have been complaining, they've been complaining that like it looks cheaper, that it
really?
looks more like people have been complaining about it. And
Weird. I
I was
totally
like,
disagree.
I don't know. I don't know why anyone's going into Bridgerton
Hmm.
still at in the year of our Lord season 3, like expecting anything more than just vibes. You just got to go in and prepare to vibe. Like why are you thinking critically about the costumes? What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I didn't think that at all. I thought they looked great. And I don't think they look cheap.
No, I thought the costumes were great. But speaking of the presentation, so first of all, I am so excited for next season when we can finally not have a presentation sequence because there'll be no Bridgerton coming out
Mm,
unless they like decide Hyacinth has been 16 this whole
hmm.
time or something. Like,
Right. They
which
might
I don't think they're
honestly.
gonna do because like, yeah, they're definitely young. But like I'm so excited to not like so tired of
Yeah. Oh
every
my
season
God.
beginning exactly the same way.
Listen, it's fine. It's a theme.
But I also like at the presentation, there was that deaf debutante and her mom. Like they had like British Sign Language. I don't know whether you noticed that. There's like a brief
Of
thing where
course,
they're
I noticed
signing to each
that. I was
other.
like, wow, they're really like doing all they can to like fit in as much just like representation TM.
I don't know. Well, it's more than they did in the last two seasons. Like the last two seasons had no disabled people, and this season we had like
They had for
the
30 for
deaf.
like 10
No, and then
seconds.
yes, I know. No, I'm not giving them like props, but like I would like more of that. And then the guy in the wheelchair. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah, I don't know. The guy in the wheelchair he was at least like, I don't know, like talking to a main character. The other people were talking, but like just kind of in the background. It's like performative. It's
no, but
performative.
there's sometimes when they're like, it's very clear they're trying to be like, look at us. I don't know. I felt this was just like, here are these people there. Like, it's not like they were the only debutantes and mom duo that they showed like talking or like making a face after
Hmm.
presentation.
Okay.
Like they
I don't
did that
know.
for a bunch of people. This felt very like, here are these people existing. And I think it normalizes it to just like have these
I
people
would
in the
just
background.
I would just be curious what the deaf community thinks. Like I if some if they're like if the general consensus is like this is cool, like I'm glad we've had this. Feels very like virtue signaling from the showrunners.
Yeah.
I know that's what they were going for. Like what you're saying is, well, sure, I'm sure that's like it's
I'm seeing, I mean, I'm literally doing a very
right. What are you seeing?
and I'm seeing generally like positive, and I'm looking at like social media, like people being like,
Hmm. Okay.
this is cool. Like as a deaf person, like I'm really excited
Okay.
about this.
Okay. And maybe if it was like actually more normalized, then like it wouldn't strike me as so like I don't know. Yeah, I don't
I liked it. I liked that it's a pathetic effort, but
know.
it's a little bit they've sprinkled it in, and
Okay.
I can only hope that they continue to do it.
Yeah.
And also Francesca's like autistic. Like we can agree on that, right? Like Francesca's autistic.
Yeah, maybe. I thought it was funny. Sorry, can I wish we should have flagged this earlier because I feel like this is going to be like the most fun to talk about this whole time. But like Eloise and
Yeah,
Cressida,
okay. So I was gonna ask you, do you want to talk about that at the beginning or do we want to dedicate like the
I think
end?
we should. I think we should have talked. I think we should flag it at the beginning because that's going to be the biggest point of interest for any of our listeners. But I really enjoyed how Violet, like now that Francesca's out, Violet has like totally like it seems like everyone is on board with like, yeah, why would Eloise be talking to a man? Eloise is like,
Yeah.
I'm only talking to eligible suitors. Eloise, you've only been talking to women. What's your point?
And like here oh, I'm going to visit Cressida. It's calling hour for it's visiting hour for
Right.
suitors. Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Is it for suitor? Yeah. Yes. I know. And I just like I can't wait. And then like her dad, Cressida's dad comes in and yells at them or whatever. I just can't wait for like I can't wait to hear the instrumental version of But Daddy, I Love Him as they run away.
Like, okay, so wait. Okay, so like Cressida is like so gay. And like
Yes.
when the dad comes in, because okay, so I've like been putting this together in my head. I've been like ruminating
Hmm.
on it. I just like
Hmm.
speed rewatched the season today.
Hmm.
Okay, so Cressida at the in the first episode is like, I used to have friends like a lot like friends when I was younger, when I was a kid, and then like now that I'm in the marriage mart, I don't have any friends. And like the
Hmm.
surface level explanation of that is what she says is that like the marriage mart and jealousy like drive us apart. But then you have in a later episode her dad being like, you need to stay away from that Bridgerton girl, blah 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 blah
Hmm.
blah. And I'm like, is it that the marriage mart drove them apart, or did Cressida get discovered with a girl like the year before she came out, and now her parents
Hmm.
are
Came out in the marriage
hypersensitive?
mart.
Yeah. And now her parents are
Yeah.
hypersensitive of her hanging out with a very obvious lesbian.
Right. And I was just like, yeah. And I was just, right. Because I was trying to think of like any like other possible explanations. And it's like, yeah, Eloise had that like scandal, Lady Whistledown scandal, but like that doesn't seem to be affecting her in any other way, right? Like that
No,
seems to
the
have like totally
Bridgertons are
blown
still super
over.
popular. They're still
Right. Like that just
beloved.
that totally blew over. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, like that Bridgerton girl. Yeah, listen.
I think it's that Bridgerton girl. Why are you hanging out with the Bridgerton boy? You're hanging out with the Bridgerton girl.
Mm, yes.
It's all coming together.
The
And
daddy, I
Cressida's
love
out
him.
here trying to marry Lord Debling.
I know.
Yeah, Eloise is over here like, why are you trying to, so, like, why are you doing Lord Debling? Like, maybe it's for the best that he doesn't like you. And Cressida's like, honey,
Girl.
I'm trying to secure
Yeah.
that bag because listen, okay, so you know
Yeah.
how Lord Debling not only in universe is he going to be like gone for several years,
Mhm.
but historically nobody managed to survive
Come
a
back.
crossing of the Northwest
North
Passage
Passage.
until
Yes.
1913. Lord
Yes.
Debling is dying and leaving
Right.
Cressida a mega rich widow.
Yes.
Eloise, your girlfriend, you know what? This is Evelyn Hugo coded. Like Cressida is Evelyn Hugo.
Eleanor or Eloise is over here on her like pseudo feminist soapbox, and Cressida's like, girl, that just to quote that TikTok that I sent you, I'm trying to secure us a 32-bedroom house in Pimlico with a man who will be away for 3 years, and we can play housemates that entire time. Catch up.
Like,
Like,
like
girl,
they're
come on.
girlfriends.
I'm
They're
gonna need you to catch
girlfriends.
up real quick.
And just the fact that like Eloise and Penelope had like literally halfway, like 3/4 of the way through episode 1, I was like, Eloise and Penelope have had more longing stares than like Penelope and Colin. Like I'm getting the like
I
romantic
know.
yearning from like that. Like
Seriously.
they seriously broke up. And
I
even in the
know.
books, Eloise only gets married because
Because
Penelope does.
Penelope,
And
yes.
she runs away
Mm-hmm.
and marries the first man she can tolerate.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
anyone who has read those books, you cannot convince me that
Mm-hmm.
like Eloise does not get like Stockholm syndromed into like thinking that she's fallen in love with Sir Philip. Like their
Mm-hmm.
relationship sucks. They don't actually
Mm-hmm.
like
I
each other.
know. I know. I really hope they get rid of that. I think I saw an article today that was like showrunners confirmed there will be like
Yes, the
queer
new
relationship
showrunner.
in main storyline, right? But like, what does that actually mean in the
Well,
main
that's the thing.
storyline?
As I saw that and I was like, okay, so are we gonna get
Mm-hmm.
another like Benedict in season 1
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
situation, like where
Or
it's
like
not
another like
really.
background person on the level of like that random like
Yeah.
that bar owner boxer
Are
man
the
who's like for some
Mondricks
reason,
gonna suddenly start like find a
yes,
third?
yes, exactly.
They're
Like it's gonna
suddenly
be
gonna
like
be
that type of shit,
polyamorous. Why
right?
not?
Like that random plot line, like unclear why
I
they're,
did like the Mondricks. I first few seasons, I was like, why the fuck are the Mondricks here? Like, whatever. I
mm-hmm.
still am like, why the fuck are the Mondricks here? Because their
Mm-hmm.
scenes felt like a different show. But
Mm-hmm.
I actually liked their scenes
Yeah, I don't
this
mind it. It's just
season.
like it
I
doesn't
was like,
tie
I'm
in. I don't
interested.
really know where it's going, but
It
it doesn't really,
doesn't.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they know what to do with them.
Did everyone die on the Northwest Passage, or did they just not succeed until 1913? Like, you know what I
No,
mean? Were
they
there ships that
died.
like everyone who tried, or like did some people turn around?
Yes, because they would get stuck among the
Mm,
ice and then they would
mm,
have to resort to like cannibalism and they would
absolutely.
just like starve to like, and this man is a
Wow.
vegetarian. You know what's
Uh,
not up there? Vegetables. You know how the Inuits
oh my
survive
God. Yeah.
by eating
Oh my
seals?
God. Oh
They're
my God.
this man is dead. You can't carry vegetables. You can't like preserve vegetables to enough of an extent that it's going to nourish you for a 3-year journey. The fuck are you doing?
Yeah, no, that's how you get scurvy.
Like,
Yeah, unclear. Yeah, where's the tofu? Yeah, listen.
Eloise flirting with the other ladies. I wrote, Eloise making the ladies laugh is so gay of her. Like, for real, it's the same scene as when the boys flirt with ladies, as like Colin flirting with
I
girls.
know there was all
It's the
those
exact
weird
same
scenes where
thing.
it was like 1 on 10 for some reason. Like they kept,
With Colin.
yeah, and Penelope.
Yeah.
Like It kept
They
like
would come
going,
in
but I don't know
packs.
why. Yeah, it was so weird. Like, where's your pack, dude? Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
think Colin actually went to Europe? Like, went to the
I think he
continent?
did. I was gonna be honest, I was really hoping that he was lying about fucking all those
Hmm.
people. And then we got
Me
that scene where he's in a
too.
threesome, and
I
I hated it.
know. I
Not only the
know.
fact that he like
Breaks the rules
he did that, but that he went to have a threesome even after he and
again.
Penelope had kissed. Like I
I
can excuse
know.
like Simon in season one and like the very beginning of the
Hmm.
very first episode, like
Hmm. Before
he's
meeting her.
had like
Yeah.
one like he's met
Yes.
Daphne, but like they're not like they haven't started. Colin and
Hmm.
Penelope have already started, and this man is in a threesome.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like
Well, but he
I
doesn't go
hated
through with it
that.
that time. He doesn't go through with it that second time,
Yes,
right?
but he's already like giving her lessons the first time we get him in the threesome.
No, I know, I know. I was like, I just, yeah, I'm being honest, yeah, like I just like couldn't really take either of them seriously. I'm still not like totally sure if I can take him seriously as like a sexual being, but
Oh no. Oh no. They're trying to get me to think he's like this bad boy. And I'm like, what are
did
you
you
doing? You're
notice?
12.
Did you notice how Penelope's dresses got like gradually more and more Bridgerton colors?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's
It's
great.
excellent. There was a
Yeah,
lot of cool storytelling
their
with
clothing.
costuming.
Hmm.
Like not only just with Penelope becoming more Bridgerton colored, but with Eloise, she's wearing like the ruffles. And this is like
Hmm.
called out like to like
Yeah,
signify her like friendship
with
with
Cressida.
Cressida. And then also the muffs.
I know. Well, do you know that's because Eloise, the actress, had broken her hand and they were like, there's no cast in Regency. But like, weren't there? What did they do when you broke your hand if there were no cast? Or
They didn't have like
I guess they weren't going to switch like a historically appropriate cast. They were going to like
yeah,
take
they
the
didn't have
cast off
like
her
hard
arm.
cast. They would have just like,
Hmm.
you know,
Wrapped it up. Yeah, and like hope for the
yeah,
best. Yeah,
yeah.
that's really, oh, that's what I was going to say is like when Cressida is mean to Penelope because she thinks when Eloise has to be like, you're being too mean to Penelope, like, don't be mean to her. I so felt that because I was like, that is so something I would do. It's be like, oh, you have a vendetta against this person. Like, don't worry, I got your back. I will be so mean to them. And then the other person's like, no, 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 no. I wasn't that serious. It wasn't that serious. Like,
Me, yes. Yes, exactly.
yeah.
Like, no, take it back. That's actually not.
Yeah. It's like, I just wanted you to know I had your back, girl. Like,
Yeah, like so many, honestly, so many times, like in my real life, like
right.
my friends have
Yeah.
been like, we don't like this person. And so I'm like,
Right.
I have no skin in this game besides like my relationship with you. So fine, like we fucking hate them. And then like
Right.
6 months later, they're like, why are you like,
So mean to,
why are you so mean? Not like me, but like, why don't you like that person? Like, why? I'm
mhm.
like, I thought we were on the same page. Like, you got to let me know
Right.
if we start liking
Right.
people again.
Right. Or like, yeah.
Like,
V for Vendetta.
I will say that Eloise is a lot more tolerable this season.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I appreciated that in episode one, that in in episode two, she gets humbled not once but twice by Colin and then by Cressida.
What do you mean?
Because when it gets out that Penelope is getting lessons,
Hmm.
like first Colin is like, "Did you tell someone?" And Eloise is like, "Oh,
Hmm.
I didn't mean to." Colin is like, "What the fuck?" And then the next
Hmm.
day, Eloise is trying to blame Cressida even
Hmm.
though our girl Cressida was like being loyal. And
Hmm.
Cressida was like, why don't you look in a fucking mirror,
Hmm.
Eloise? Like, you
Hmm.
did it.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. I just had a question. When Cressida, when they're having their first little chat about like friendship TM,
uh,
she's like, oh, I tried to
allegedly.
befriend you. Yeah, alleged friendship. Oh, I tried to befriend you like during our first or your first season or whatever. Did that happen on screen?
Yes, it
Did
did.
we? Okay.
Eloise, Eloise and Penelope are hanging out.
Hmm.
Cressida comes up and she's like, why don't you hang out? It's like the classic mean girl. Like, why don't you hang with us
Uh,
instead of that loser? And Eloise says, like, I would rather die.
it's like Draco, like, why don't you hang with us, Potter? Yeah. Well, why is she so mean to Penelope?
Because she was the classic mean girl, and now they decided to give her a story.
Penelope was giving majors. Sorry, Penelope was giving major school shooter vibes, like the
Oh,
whole beginning of this
what the
season.
fuck? Oh, when she was creeping in the bushes?
No, I just mean like just her general like disgruntled, like I don't know, just you don't
Her
know what
like
I
walking
mean?
around like smile, like her the little smirk she would do when she would see people reading Whistledown, like in the opening sequence. Is that what you're talking
Mm.
about?
No, I just mean like her general, like I'm bullied TM and like, but I secretly could take all of you down. Like it was just getting like more and more dark. It felt like,
Oh my God.
right? Like that's like the classic like trope. Like, oh, they're only anyway.
I know that's the trope. I did not get those vibes from Penelope, but I respect your interpretation.
Carrie vibes.
No, a little more like lesbian thing back to when Cressida was saying that she like tried to befriend Eloise. She's like, but you rejected my suit.
Yes, I know.
A
Yes,
suitor? Like
yes,
that's
yes,
courting language. That's
yes.
courting language
I
right
know.
there.
I know. I know.
Like, like
Yes. What's up with why is Cress's dad just like a dick? Do we have any backstory on like the parents?
in the book, no. However, I do think that they will be combining they're going to make Cressida's family Sophie's family, Benedict's love interest,
Why?
because
Wait.
Cressida's mom is credited as being called Araminta, which is what Sophie's
Hmm.
stepmother's mom is named.
Oh, so you think they're gonna like bring in a new like they're gonna kill off the dad, have her mom get re or they're just gonna have like a cousin come in or something?
Or she's like the servant, or and the dad's just an asshole.
I was trying to remember because Callie asked for a rundown of like the books and I couldn't really remember what Sophie's backstory was. She's like, it's Cinderella. I
She
knew
was
it's
like the
like Cinderella
bastard
retelling
daughter, and then the dad
of
died, and then she becomes like a servant.
oh, okay, okay. So she was the bastard daughter. So they like what was she so he was like nice to her while he was alive?
I mean, he like didn't make her be a maid, but like he didn't exactly like step in when the stepmother was like mean or whatever.
I mean, honestly, that's fair. That's really bold of the dad.
But I think they're gonna combine. I think they're gonna combine that and make like Cressida's family, because like it doesn't make sense to like bring in a new.
No,
And
random
they've already
family.
cast the Sophie's actress, so I
Hmm.
think she's gonna appear in the last episode, and I think it's gonna be Kate's first like ball as Viscountess. I
Oh.
think she's gonna throw like the end of season ball.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so that's going to be the ball that Benedict and Sophie meet because they've already
Okay.
cast her. And so I think
Have
she
they?
might
Who is it? I
appear.
want to look it up. Okay. I want to look
I
it
don't
up.
know. It's this I'm sure you can find it.
Yeah, in the books is like that family, like Sophie's family, like have we heard about them before the book?
No.
Oh,
No, they're just
yeah, that's
another
bold.
like random member.
Yeah, then I definitely think that makes sense. Do you think Cressida will like know about like
Okay. Well, the thing is that I as much as I love gay Cressida and Eloise, what's their ship name?
I have no idea. Es
Celoise,
Elsida,
Elsida,
Creloise,
Creloise.
I like Creloise. So I like how Eloise
As much
sounds.
as I love Creloise, based on the season 2 preview, did you watch, I mean the part 2 preview? Did you watch the part 2
Hmm.
preview?
Hmm. Hmm.
It seems like they're gonna be keeping the storyline from the book where Cressida pretends like claims to
To be
be
Whistledown,
Whistledown and then
really?
potentially like blackmails Penelope or something.
Hmm.
Like
Oh, really? I
I
didn't
I
wait.
don't
I
know.
don't
There was
remember
like a
that.
few shots of Penelope of like Cressida looking evil. Like I just
Hmm. I'll be really mad.
I think
Maybe
they're
they're doing
gonna
it to like
keep
save
some
her.
version of that.
You really think they're gonna make Cresta into a villain again? Does Sophie have like siblings in the book?
She has like half sisters or step
That's what I
siblings or
mean.
whatever,
That's what I
stepsisters.
mean.
It's a full
Well, half.
Cinderella story in the book.
What's half siblings, right?
No, I think they're stepsisters. I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh, like they're not the dad's like full like
No, I don't
kids
think
either.
so.
Okay. Masali Baduza. Let's see.
The
Or is
Sophie
this just
actress?
no, this is just speculation. The rumor is we might see Masali Baduza
I
join the
don't know.
show. Yeah, this is just like speculation. It's not
Okay.
confirmed
Well,
yet.
but regardless is because I think Benedict's season is next. I think they're going to introduce the Sophie actor. I think we're going to have that ball in part 2,
Mhm.
and my theory is that it's going to be during like Kate's, because like that's what they've set up for like Kate and Anthony this season, even though like they conveniently with the second honeymoon wrote them
Mhm.
out after the first episode. They are coming back in part two, and their like mini arc
Yeah.
is like coming in, like Kate like coming into her own as the Viscountess.
Yeah.
So
I hate to say, wait, how do you, I hate to say it, but like, yeah, I don't really trust these like writers to do things that make sense. Like, especially after last season. Like, yeah,
it's different. It's a
to
different
not just like,
showrunner.
well, sure, sure. But like she was his, I'm pretty sure she was like the right hand woman of like
Yeah.
that previous guy. Like that's what I heard. That's what I
Yeah,
saw
she
on
was.
TikTok. So like she was still like, I don't know. Like, yeah, you're right. It's possible, but like if what you're saying, yeah, just based off of like just the dialogue and just general choices, like I wouldn't be surprised if they
There's
just
just
like
something off this
don't,
season.
yeah, something is off. Because something was always off with the
But I'm gonna
dialogue.
be
But
honest,
like,
something was always off. And frankly, I think that we were really spoiled last season in that Jonathan Bailey can act. And so far he's been the only lead, the romantic lead, the like only male lead
mm,
who can act.
mm.
Unfortunately, Colin, no hate to that actor.
I don't think Holland's awful.
He's not as bad as Reggae Sean
It's
Page.
like it's the writing. The writing is like awkward, and I wouldn't be surprised if they like ruin the Cressida like redemption arc.
You know what I saw? Well, Cressa doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. You know what I saw?
Hmm.
in like the first two episodes when like they're trying to convince us that Colin is like hot, like this like bad boy hot
Yes.
flirt.
Yes. Hmm.
I saw a compilation of like some of the faces, some of like those quote unquote smolders that the actor
Mm.
did, and comparing them to Zoolander, like, and
Mm.
it was so similar.
Like be so serious. Yeah.
However, I will say,
Mm.
last episode four, I feel like Colin, I was like, finally, we're getting pathetic, sad, yearning. Colin is coming out of the woodwork. And I was like, I like it that he can play that. He can play like pathetic and love boy. Like, finally.
Mm. Yeah. Ugh. I'll be so mad if they just like drop the whole Cressida redemption. Just because it's so
Yeah.
pointless. Like even if they don't end up together, like it's just so point. Like what was all of that for?
To make a complex villain. I don't know.
I don't think. I just like. There's no way. I feel like if they keep the like whistle impersonation thing, it'll be like uh, to like save Penelope, like
Well,
at
it
least an
may
attempt.
You know what it may be, because they have set up with Cressida about how the dad is threatening to like cut their allowance and
And like marry her off.
like marry her off to like one of his old men. So she could be doing it. Like they could still keep the herd like pretending to be Whistledown, like
Hmm.
blackmailing Penelope, but doing it out of a place of like desperation, like out of a place that where you're like, it's a shitty
Hmm.
thing, but I understand
Hmm.
like why
Hmm.
you've been driven to this.
Hmm. Hmm. Also, wait, I was confused. Yeah, I'm also just this whole time I'm like Penelope, like why? Like, because we're the whole thing is that like, oh, she like doesn't want to be stuck with her mom and sisters her whole life and like be dependent. So like she she needs money. But like, does she not have a ton of money from
She has
Whistledown?
money.
And
They even make
also,
a
I
little
know,
a
like
little
run away to
comment to it because they're like
Paris.
Aunt Petunia hiding coins under the floorboards. I'm like Penelope.
Wait. Can you remind me? I was trying to figure out how they got, did the mom like, I couldn't remember like what the mom did with like that cousin last season. Did she like blackmail
They
him
like
into giving her
basically blackmailed
money?
him into leaving.
What were they blackmailing him with?
They ran this whole like jewel like Ponzi scheme, like jewels like fake jewel scheme. And then
Hmm.
Colin exposed them and the mom acted
Okay.
like she was like also taken advantage of. So she
Hmm.
was like leave.
I forgot about that. You're right. Okay. Because Colin was like, I'm gonna invest TM. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Lady Featherington, so like I think they're saying like we have money now because this like aunt died, and what it really
Hmm.
seems is that like they like forged some documents, at
Hmm.
least according to the one lawyer of the
Hmm.
aristocracy who just kept popping around to like have them have
The
money.
Queen's
Although
lawyer.
I don't know why. I don't know why they're like, who's next in line to be Lord Featherington? The current Lord Featherington is still alive. Just because he's not in London anymore doesn't mean that they take away his title. Like he's still
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Like, why are we
Right.
worrying about who's the next Lord
Yeah.
Featherington?
I know. It doesn't make any sense. Wait, what do you mean? Wait, what do you mean Aunt Petunia hiding coins in the floorboards?
they make like an whatever offset, like the housekeeper is like Lady Featherington, like do you really think people are going to believe that like this random spinster aunt like had money? And Lady Featherington's like, I don't like, maybe she was like hiding coins in jars under the floorboards, like just as like a
But what
thing.
does
But
that
it's
have to
like
do?
funny because that's what Penelope does. That's where she keeps her money.
Okay. Okay. We see that on the show.
Yes, that's how Eloise discovers that she's Lady Whistledown, is because
Mm,
she finds her money under the floorboards.
mm. Yeah. All right. So like I just don't understand. Are we supposed to just like forget about that? In the books, doesn't Penelope like give her family money?
Yes, and pretends it's from dead relatives.
Yeah. But they added that whole weird plot. And that's what I'm saying about like I don't trust the writers not to do things that just like don't make
No,
sense.
but they've never done things that make sense. They've never done that.
I know that's what I'm saying. I don't trust them like with the Cressida thing or just generally. Yeah. It's just like really weird. Yeah. I don't know why. It's because they wanted to add that whole like convoluted plot line. Yeah. Why would they need a new Lord Bridgerton or Featherington? That's such bullshit.
You know what also doesn't make sense? The fact that they like take a dig at Jane Austen, that Eloise is like reading Emma and Colin is
Hmm.
like, "Oh, I didn't know that you liked those like silly romances." I was like, "Jane Austen? That's what you're using as like Eloise reading romance?" Like, what?
I think they were just trying to work in a Jane Austen reference. And
But
then
they
like,
did it in the worst way possible. I was like, "What? What? What?"
I thought the weirder thing, because I don't really have high standards for Colin. I just thought the weirder thing was Eloise's like defense of it. She wasn't just like, yeah, fuck you. Like, I like it. It's written by a woman. Like, I like this. This is a good book. She was like, well, I don't really care about reading like the other, like whatever the fuck she was reading.
She's like stepping outside of society as a fan. I think that's just supposed to so
Hmm.
she's like jaded and like she's like given up trying to be
Sure.
the
No,
rebel,
I know. I know. But just like, which is fine. I'm fine with that.
which is although she's still not a girl's girl because those girls are talking about embroidery
No, I
and Eloise is
know.
making fun of them.
I think she was she making fun of them? I don't think she's making fun of them. I think she was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to try to sound like I know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
but then they were like
Oh yeah, she was like anything to get us off this topic. Yeah.
yeah, and she was like, "Oh, it was a jest." Like that girl clearly had her
Hmm.
feelings hurt. Like that was clearly
Hmm.
not a nice moment.
Hmm. No, I know. I know. I thought that was Eloise just being like socially awkward.
No, that's Francesca's line. Francesca's socially awkward.
But she's really not. She's just pretty and she doesn't talk.
Like she's like talking to the other debutantes. They're like, "What are we looking at husband?" Like,
Hmm.
I look for someone who's
Hmm.
hot. I look for someone who's rich. And she's like, I'm looking for someone who's kind. And they
Hmm.
act like that's a stupid
Hmm.
answer. And
Hmm.
I just two
Yeah.
rewatches later, I still don't get that. Why is that a
Why have
stupid
you watched it
answer?
twice? It's not. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know how you feel about this, but I saw so many people complaining that there are like too many subplots this season and like Colin Penelope aren't
Like
getting
I'm
like their
used to
due.
that.
And but I'm gonna be honest, I think this was a lot more similar to season one. I think they
Hmm.
found the balance again of like centering the
Yeah.
main couple and still having like
Right. I
subplots.
agree. Yeah, I
Like
agree. I
it was
didn't, yeah.
nothing compared to last season.
Right. Yeah. I didn't feel like too much subplots at all.
Like Colin and Penelope were one on one, like so much, so much.
Hmm. And like I can't something like the Eloise subplot is also in my head the Penelope subplot because I'm like, this is Penelope's ex-girlfriend. And
Yeah.
like the ensuing drop with her like new like
Well, I mean, listen, that's what it like. The show's not even trying to hide that.
right.
Although, frankly,
Exactly.
Eloise, I've said it. I've said Eloise is a shitty friend, and Eloise was also a shitty girlfriend to Penelope
Hmm.
because when Eloise is like so shocked that Penelope wants to find a husband, she's like, "What?"
Right.
And I was like,
Right.
"What the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's she's wanted that the
Hmm.
whole time. Like, she's
I
always wanted to fall
know.
in love. Like,
I
you just
know.
never listened to her, which is why how you
No, I
didn't figure out she
know.
was Lady Whistledown until 2 years in."
Right. Yeah. Yes. I know. And then like later, like this season, Eloise said something again, like early on, that was kind of like, oh, well, Penelope doesn't care about that. Like, doesn't want to find a husband to Cressida. And I was like, girl, like, did you not? Like, unfortunately, that is her entire like. goal for some reason, even though she totally has enough money to like just run away to Paris by herself
Yes,
or
why
with
the
Eloise.
fuck is she like trying to don't give a man your money, Penelope?
Yeah.
Like
I mean, she
you're
probably
independently
wouldn't.
wealthy.
She probably wouldn't.
She would
She probably
have
be good.
to. She
Not
would
if they don't
have
know.
to,
Not if they don't know about it.
I guess.
How are they gonna make her?
How are they gonna know? They're
Hmm.
gonna know. How are they gonna
Exactly.
know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Although back to Eloise and Cressida, I did feel a little bit sad because Eloise is like wingmanning for Cressida with Lord Debling, and like they're talking about the Great Auk and how like Lord Debling really wants to save
Hmm.
the bird, the Great Auk.
Hmm.
And I did
Hmm.
feel very sad because Lord Debling does not succeed in saving the
Yeah,
Great Auk. The
I
Great Auk
figured it
is
was.
extinct.
I
It is
figured.
extinct.
Almost certainly. What does it look like?
It looks like a puffin or like a penguin and a puffin,
Hmm.
like that vibe.
No, dodo vibe.
No.
The cold TM. Do you know the seals don't eat penguins in Madagascar? I mean, is it No, no. What's those islands? What's those islands where Darwin went? Galapagos. The Great Auk. Oh,
Yeah.
bummer.
It's just
Flightless bird.
a cute little guy and he's gonna die.
Became extinct in 1844. Were
Tragic.
excellent
Yeah, you know
swimmers.
why? Because Lord Devling died in the Northwest Fat Passage. That's why. He
He didn't
wasn't there
live
to
to save
save
them.
them.
He couldn't save him. You were never born, so you couldn't save Harry. No one saved you, and so Harry couldn't save all those men. Every man on that convoy died.
The Great Auk. Every Great Auk on that island died because you weren't there to save them, Lord Devling.
That's very sad.
Can we talk about the interpretive dance, the like random modern dance in the last episode, in episode 4?
What? With the couple, the ballet, the weird ballet
Yes,
thing.
and how that was
It's so
absolutely, I
weird.
realized halfway through, just promo for the Bridgerton experience that they're like the Queen's
What,
Ball, the
Cirque du
Bridgerton
Soleil or
experience they're
something?
doing it.
What do you
No, because
mean?
there's a part of that I've seen pictures online where like they have like a couple do some like fancy pants dance in the middle. I was like, this is just the Bridgerton experience. You're just trying to plug this.
What's the Bridgerton experience?
It's like the Queen's Ball. Like you go and pretend you're at a ball and like get presented to like someone dressed up as
Mm,
Queen Charlotte.
it's in different cities.
Yeah, it's like touring all over the world.
Speaking of, did you know that Karlie Kloss's coding camp thing is still a thing? If you're
Is
age
it?
13 to 18, yeah, girls 13 to age 18. It's like in a bunch of cities. It's in like
I
Austin,
mean,
Philly, like
listen,
yeah,
it's a
it's
worthwhile
free.
cause.
I wonder if it's actually I wonder if it's competitive or if it's like first come first serve. Anyway,
I don't
I
know,
thought
but
that was
she's putting
really
the Kushner
silly.
money to good use.
She's been doing this for like 10 years and before she
I
got
know,
married.
but I'm sure having the Kushner money helped
Oh, maybe
like expand it.
maybe it's very silly. I just
Wait, how did you feel about Francesca and John?
Oh, that's fine. I was like waiting to see who it would be. I mean, it doesn't really matter because he's gonna
I
die,
know it's
right?
very sad. It's very tragic. I had two minor inconsistencies from episode 1. The first one I feel like I expected you to have already commented on this, and it's the
What?
fact that Lady Danbury hosts a ball called the Four Seasons, and not once do they play Vivaldi. Not
Oh,
once.
I didn't catch that it was called the Four Seasons. I was just like, I wonder why they're
They
all
literally zoom in on the
why it's
invite
fall
card.
themed. Oh, I missed it. I was
Each
like, oh, they're
quarter
all
is
seem
a
to be
different
fall themed.
season.
Oh, no.
I was like, not once? We don't get a single line of
When was that?
music.
When was it written? When was the Vivaldi's Four Seasons written? I feel like it was either like 1600 or like
I don't know, Rachel,
late
because
1800s.
fucking Taylor Swift wasn't around in the Regency era either.
Oh, listen,
Like,
that's a good point. I just feel like if they're gonna play, it was composed. Oh yeah, it had already been composed. Yeah,
yeah.
1718 to 1720.
No, because they've played the Four Seasons, they've played Vivaldi before. And like season
Really?
1, they
Oh,
play a part of the Four Seasons. I
that's
was like,
really
why?
silly.
What's the point? Why would you call it the Four Seasons? That's like a slam dunk, music
Because
wise.
the Four Seasons. That's true.
Who's the music director? I just want to talk.
Maybe they played the music that they play in the Four Seasons hotels, which is also not Four Seasons.
Sure.
It'd be even worse.
Maybe I will say that I do kind of forgive the music director because they did play a Pitbull song during the carriage scene.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed that. Hallie was like, this is the wrong. She's like, this is such a bad choice. I don't like it. And I was like, no, I fucking this is perfect. Yeah, give me everything
No, it
tonight.
slapped. Like, give
Yeah, it
me,
really did.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought
but
that was great.
hilarious. I'm pretty sure like
Yeah,
the official Bridgerton like social media has like made a Mr. Worldwide joke, like
absolutely.
because of that. Like I've seen them make a Mr. Worldwide joke.
Yeah, I just really can't wait for the instrumental, but Daddy, I love him.
Let's hope. We can only hope. Maybe we may
Unprecedented.
have to wait for season 5 to get
Which is
that.
that
We may
supposed to
have
be
to wait for
Eloise's?
Eloise's season. Yeah.
We think that will be the order. You don't think they'll like skip to you don't think they'll like skip to Francesca?
Maybe. I think John's gonna die next season. And then maybe they'll skip to Francesca and do I think it just depends on the direction they go with Eloise.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I don't know, okay, this brings me to my larger point of like where the fuck is Daphne? I'm really mad about that. That's just for continuity. Like you could have like
Yeah.
they did it for Anthony and Kate. They make like some plotless appearances just to be like, look, they still exist. They're part of
Well,
the
it's
family,
because
part of the ship, part of the crew.
it is
Sure, but they
their
could
house. They all
well,
live in their
sure,
house.
I know, but they could have wrote them out if they wanted to. It wouldn't have been that hard to be like they're already on their second honeymoon, you know? Like
Yeah.
they made that choice and they could have, I get that the man is gone, but like, I don't know, Daphne, like just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even care that, I don't even like her that much. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have no like attachment to the actress. It's just like really annoying when it's a family of 8 people and kids and
I just want one picture of the whole
yeah,
family. Just one. Just
right. Just
once. I
have them
want
all
all the
together.
siblings to be in one
Yeah.
picture.
Like give Daphne like some kind of, I don't know. It definitely doesn't seem like it was the actress's like decision.
No, like
Like
let
she's like,
her come back for like the last episode, and just be like at the
the first and last
ball,
episode,
like
the first,
supporting,
right.
yeah, or
Film them on the same
whatever.
day. Like surely they can just like not pay her as much if they're trying to save money. Like, yeah, it
Yeah.
wouldn't be the same as like,
That that is the like if we if for example like Jonathan Bailey isn't in the next season, which I can't imagine why that I feel like that would be much more difficult for them to write out Anthony than to write out Daphne because Anthony like does make appearances basically in every book
hmm,
because he is the head of the family.
does
But
Daphne
like if
not?
no, although she does actually have like a her and Colin have like the conversation that Violet and Colin have about
Mm-hmm.
friendship is like
Right.
actually the com is like a similar to a conversation that Daphne
Mm-hmm.
and Colin like Daphne and Colin are
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be a lot closer than they are.
Yeah, like Daphne could totally be involved in like, I don't know, like, yeah, in yeah, like trying to get Francesca married off and shit.
Yeah. But if they write off Anthony next season, it's definitely not going to be Jonathan Bailey's choice. Like I feel like Jonathan Bailey like fucking loves playing Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
He's like so into
Mm-hmm.
like being on
Mm-hmm.
Bridgerton.
Well, and it's interesting. That's why I brought that up because for the order of the seasons, because I don't know, it's weird because like for Eloise and to a lesser extent Benedict, they seem really committed to like, even when it's not her main season, like she will be like a huge part of it, right?
Hmm.
And
I mean, they did that
maybe they
with
just like
Colin
her better.
too.
Yeah, yes. And kind of Benedict. Like, but the fact that I guess just like vaguely, I don't really have this like fully defined in my head, but like they seem kind of committed to not like the way that they just like write people off. I feel like they might not have gone to the effort of recasting Francesca now and making her a big part of it just to have her like bop around for the next season. You know what I'm saying? Like it would be weird of them to like, I guess they could like keep giving her storylines in between, even after John dies or like before John dies.
Yeah.
But I can't see them like putting her into cold storage for like an entire season. Like that would be a lot
No.
harder to do with someone you're trying to like have as a main
Yeah.
character. I just wonder if they're gonna bump her up just to
Maybe.
like I can't see her
Yeah.
like I just wonder like they wouldn't have like bothered to recast her and have her like have the John
Yeah.
thing this early if she was gonna wait another 2 seasons,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Unless they're just gonna spin the John thing into like, a lot more on-screen storytelling and like actually get us invested in him and then kill him off.
Maybe. That would be
And
much more Shonda
then
Rhimes.
yeah, that's true. That's true. And it's like a ready-made, like written into the
And it would
story.
be way
Like,
more compelling. like
Right. It's like
from
a
an
ready-made.
ensemble show perspective.
Yeah, it's like written into the story, like that type of drama. Like that would really like
Yeah.
very like not romance type of thing to like if they give us like a
No.
full John like romance. When do you think we're gonna meet Michael? Like, shouldn't we have met Michael already?
No.
I thought Michael was like John's BFF who like I thought it was like in Love Actually. I thought it was like Love Actually style with Keira Knightley, the Keira Knightley storyline.
Yes, but Michael and Francesca, at least in the book, don't meet until like the day before her wedding.
Oh, okay.
And
Do you think
because he's
maybe it'll be
like
like the
he's
last episode,
introduced to her as like John's
like glance and
fiance.
okay.
I don't think they've cast Michael. I don't think Michael's making an appearance. I don't think they would put Michael on cold
Well,
storage
that's what
for
okay. That's what I'm
two
saying.
seasons.
That's what that would make it more compelling. I don't know.
Like maybe he'll appear in next season, like right before John dies, but I don't think
Like maybe
it's
we'll just get like a little what's the word like Easter egg of like yeah them like seeing each like meeting before the wedding and just like that the like that well, like the Pride and Prejudice like glance
yeah
gasp look away
in the church.
instant like love yeah
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah
maybe. Yeah, I'll be curious. I do think Benedict is like definitely next season. Although I don't know, because okay, so like this is another thing. This is another reason they need to just make Eloise a fucking lesbian because her and Cressida have definitely made out. Like you cannot tell me they have not known each other biblically. Okay, like why can Benedict just stop being the town bicycle? Every single season, his story is like he fucks a different older woman
oh
every single
right.
season. Can he stop being the
I'm
town
gonna be
bicycle? Can we
honest, I
have
don't even
lesbians
remember.
instead?
Yeah, I don't even remember what like the previous one was.
No, he has like the Rin and blonde chick. I think she's evil. I
You
think the
think she's
blonde
evil?
chick.
Really? That's I think that's giving the showrunners too much credit. I think it's just like a distraction, like a stupid, like pointless plot line, just like the
Yeah, but I think she's
Mondricks.
somehow gonna be evil. I don't trust her.
Why? Really?
I don't trust
Maybe
her.
she's the one who's gonna blackmail. Did you see the stuff about like Cressida's like stupid shoulder, like what is it called? Like cage thing?
Oh, that she's like a caged bird or whatever.
Yeah. Was that from the show? Was that from the show or is that just like a TikTok theory?
No, I think that was like
Like that's what they
the
said.
costume designer said
And that would
that.
just be really bold to have them make her like totally evil after like all of that shit.
I just
I really loved Eloise's dresses. Sorry, now that we're coming back to this. What were you saying about the shoulder ruffles? Like that was supposed to be like
that
looking like
she's like
Cressida,
dressing more like
like
Cressida now
Cressida.
that they have
Yeah.
friends, now that they're
Right, right, right.
friends,
You're right. Okay.
girlfriends,
Yeah.
now that they're girls
Yeah.
that are friends,
Yeah. And
roommates,
almost housemates,
5 feet
yeah.
apart because they're not gay. That's why the ruffles are important. Her shoulders are so big it keeps them 5 feet apart.
Did I send you that TikTok that was like it was like a like the same as the original Vine, like outside a hotel window, like into a hot tub, but it was like two women like sitting in a hot tub, like far. It was like
Oh
two
no.
bros sitting in a hot tub 5 feet apart because they're not gay. And then it like hand back. It was like, oh my God, an hour later. They were like making out.
Oh, of course. Excellent.
Really funny. But I really liked Eloise's dresses.
Yeah.
The dresses got less intricate after the first season. It seems like they really like pulled all the stops on everyone on the first episode. And then the first episode, I mean, and then like it got more like back to the normal. But
Yeah.
I don't
I
know.
feel like it's pretty normal. Eloise has finally stopped wearing like neckerchiefs. Like she kept having like these like
Mm.
sheer turtlenecks the whole time.
Hmm.
And now she's finally branched out.
I like Francesca's dresses also, but they all look so uncomfortable. Like Francesca's, I think, looked the most uncomfortable as far as like fabric choice and like neck touching.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
You know what was silly?
What?
Okay. So Colin claims that this summer, I don't know why they keep saying this summer. Like, is this supposed to be the fall? That's
No,
not
I
when the
think it's supposed to
social
be the
season
summer
starts.
because that video that I sent you that was like them talking about her broken
Oh
hand.
yeah, her summer
Like
muff.
the Eloise actress made a joke like, yeah, the summer muff. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So they keep saying that Colin has been traveling this summer, which
Hmm.
putting aside how the hell Colin is traveling during the height of the Napoleonic Wars, like we'll just pretend Napoleon doesn't exist in the Bridgerton
Yeah.
universe.
That's fine.
But because he doesn't exist, because Colin's able to travel around Europe. So I'm going to explain this, but my thesis right now is
Hmm.
that Bridgerton may actually just be a weird like Regency cosplay cult and actually like the world outside is the modern world.
And that's why he's like, I couldn't possibly tell you.
And they're like, and Colin's gone out because here's my reasoning. Okay, so that's my thesis.
Okay.
Here's my
Okay.
evidence. Colin claims to have been to 17 cities this summer. Let's be
Mm-hmm.
generous, even though it's still summertime, that's 3 months of him traveling,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? That's only 12 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
That means he was in each city for less than a week. And if we're
Mm-hmm.
traveling everywhere by carriage, which is like 2 to 3 days minimum
Maybe he was
between
running.
each
That's how he got the
city,
6-pack. Yeah.
like he's spending a day. Like you don't
Is
even have
it like
time
what
to find the
cities?
local brothel in that time. Like, what do you mean he fucked his? He says
Yeah.
specifically, I have been to 17 cities.
But like how they could be close together. Yeah, no, I get what you're
Rachel,
saying.
it's Europe.
And then like he came back and like the cult leader, like the whatever, like the Gurg was like that's allowed, but like you can't tell anyone else like what you saw. And
Yeah,
that's why he has to be like, I
exactly.
couldn't tell you, it would blow your minds.
Yeah, exactly. Bridgerton is
Oh my
actually a
God.
weird Regency era
Oh my
cult.
God.
Because otherwise, how the fuck is Colin getting to 17 cities in 3 months? By carriage.
Listen.
It's
Yeah,
all
'cause-
coming
and they
together.
act surprised about it, like in universe too. It's not just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like,
Well, it would make sense if he had actually gone on like a real grand tour. Like if he
mm-hmm,
had gone on like a year-long grand tour,
mm-hmm,
but it doesn't
mm-hmm,
fucking make sense when he's only been gone 3 months.
mm-hmm.
It takes you like a week to get to France at the very least. Like
Yeah,
just to get to fucking France.
why didn't he go on a grand tour?
Because Napoleon, but also Napoleon doesn't exist. So who knows?
Oh, you mean in the books it's Napoleon?
In the books Colin travels, but that's because Colin's book takes place like 10 years after Anthony's or
Right,
Benedict's.
right, right, right.
Like, so the Napoleonic Wars are over by that point.
Mm-hmm. 10 years. Wait, is there
Yeah.
that big of a time jump in the books
Yes. So
between
what
any of the,
happens?
there's no
No,
like
no, okay.
filler
So
books.
it's Daphne and then Anthony, and I think they're like consecutive years, like one right after the other. And then Benedict meets Sophie, and I think their book doesn't start until like 3 years later. I think
Hmm.
that's when they're
3
reunited.
years after Anthony.
Yes.
Okay.
Um, and I Eloise has been on the shelf for has been out for like a decade. Her and Penelope have like been out for like 10 years. They're like
Wow.
28, 29. And
Damn.
Colin's like in his 30s.
Damn.
So yeah, there's like a big time jump because Colin, Eloise, and Francesca's book all takes place at the same time. You have to have time for Francesca to get married and widowed.
It's like truly a tragedy.
What?
Just the Penelope
Francesca?
Eloise. No, the
Oh.
Eloise having to like run away. Like yeah, Eloise hears about Penelope getting married. Eloise runs
And
away.
immediately in the book, that's in the
I
book that
know. I
Eloise
know.
is like, I thought me and Penelope were going to be old maids, we're going to be spinsters
Mm-hmm.
together. And
Mm-hmm.
then Penelope got married.
Mm-hmm.
The betrayal to get married
No,
to
for
her
sure.
brother.
It's like that. It's like that. Yeah, it's like Dickinson. God, I couldn't
Yeah.
watch
Oh my
that.
God, it is.
Yeah, it's Dickinson. Man, am I gonna be able to watch this? I couldn't get through Dickinson. I was making me too sad.
Well, listen, we can hope for listen. Let Penelope be a bisexual queen, and Eloise and Cressida can be lesbian icons.
Yeah, I feel like we'll know at the end of this season. Well, no, because like Eloise is still like, did Eloise stay mad at Penelope this long in the book
Eloise doesn't find out that
until everyone else
Penelope
does,
is late.
right?
Like she finds out after everybody else.
Like
She
10
finds
years
out.
later.
No, 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 no,
Wow.
no. No, they
Like
don't
10 years
find
after she
out.
first starts doing it, I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But and then she
Wow.
finds out after the whole ton finds out,
Mm-hmm.
but
And
Eloise runs
then,
away that night before
mm,
they announce it. So Eloise doesn't find out
wow.
until like she's getting married to
She runs
Philip.
away that night.
Yes. At the night of their engagement ball,
Oh my
Rachel.
God.
They're so gay.
I just like,
That's really bold of Julia to be like, this is like so normal.
You know what I realized? You know how when Bridgerton came out, the first season,
Hmm.
and it was like a runaway success, and everybody was like kind of hopeful. I don't know how much you were exposed to this, but I was really exposed to this. Everyone was kind of hopeful that this was going to have like a really positive effect on the popularity of historical romance. Like it
Hmm.
was going to have historical romance was going to make a
Right.
resurgence.
Right.
And like that really hasn't happened.
No.
And I think Bridgerton, the television show, is actually like quite possibly one of the worst things that could have happened to the historical romance subgenre, like in terms of like people reading historical romance books. And I
Hmm.
think it's because, and I'm not even gonna dunk on like the Bridgerton books themselves. Like
Hmm.
they're popular for a reason, and they were
Hmm.
our first books, and like
Hmm.
clearly we really enjoyed them.
Hmm. Hmm.
But the show and the books are
Yeah, I
so
know. I know.
radically different.
I
So if
know.
you're a fan of the show, you don't want to go
Hmm.
read Julia Quinn. You want to go read like Lisa Kleypas and like Sarah McLean
Hmm.
and like Sophie Jordan. Like you don't, and
Hmm.
like Lorraine Heath. Like you don't want Julia
Hmm.
Quinn because like the show is not funny and lighthearted the way the books are.
Oh, interesting. I think the
So I
show's
think
kind of funny
if
and
you go
lighthearted.
and read the books, you're like, oh, this is what historical romance books are like. I don't like this isn't like the show. This isn't what I
Interesting.
wanted.
And I think honestly, it's because, and maybe I've just like read enough at this point. Maybe I don't know what this would be like if this would be like my first exposure to it, but I don't know. The show is just like, again, the dialogue is just so like makes me cringe all the time. And I can look past that and I can binge it and I can enjoy it. I enjoy the show. It's just like that wouldn't make me want to get that experience divorced from like the color and visual
And
imagery
the
and like
hot people
interest of seeing the characters,
and the
right?
Taylor
Like the
Swift
dialogue
covers.
alone would not exactly like it wouldn't make me want to have that in like a written form where like I wouldn't have any of the other stuff. Like the other like fun dresses and like part and like, you know.
Yeah. The response that I have to that is that like I don't think it's necessarily that they watched the show and then they were like, I want to read historical romance. I think they
Mhm.
watched the show and were like, I would like to read the books that this show is based on. And
Mm.
because the
That's the
books
gateway to the right.
are not the gateway that they needed in order to like
Hmm.
continue reading, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I just don't know if the show would like make me want to read the books, is what I'm saying. Like you're
I
saying like
I
even
mean,
if
but
they
I'm
get to
saying
that
plenty of
point,
people
okay.
did. I'm saying those books were on the New York Times bestseller list for weeks and weeks and weeks
Mm.
and weeks and weeks. The first book came out, and like each book, like I think Colin Penelope's book, I'm sure that's on the New York Times bestseller list right now. But like each like Anthony's book was on for his season.
Are you saying that the books are more funny and lighthearted, or the show is more funny and lighthearted?
The books, the books are
Interesting.
silly because
Okay, I should
Anthony is
reread
afraid of
them.
bees and Kate is afraid of thunderstorms.
No, it's
They're
already
silly. They're
yeah, they're not
just
supposed to be silly. They're
silly.
not taking I mean the show is silly too
No,
in
but
a lot of ways.
they are supposed to be comedies. They are supposed to be like Julia Quinn would be more similar to Tessa Dare than to Lisa Kleypas
Hmm.
in terms of
Oh,
historical romance
interesting.
subgenre.
I don't know. I don't know if
She
maybe the
doesn't
show
write
has
super
its
serious books.
yeah, but the show has its like unserious mo like I don't know, the whole thing is kind of unserious, but I kind of get what you're saying.
I just feel like I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like they're tonally really different.
Yeah, I just don't know if I agree with like what you're saying, the tone differences. I haven't read the books in a while though.
Also, the books are not that sexy. They're
Right,
not that
that's
sexy.
true.
There's like two
You're
sex
right, especially
scenes, and
compared to like, yeah.
yeah.
I clearly managed to block out like a lot of this show too, including the entire second season that we watched like so many times. We
Watched it
watched
so
that
many
so many
times.
times. Uh,
I was watching
Yeah.
when I was watching this season, season three. I was like, "Mom, do you want to watch with me?" And he was like, "No." But then, of course, he like
Really?
does that
Of
thing where
course.
he's like, "I'm gonna wait to watch it with Baba,"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And
Right.
then, of course, he's like opening Amazon packages like
Mm-hmm.
behind me, and he's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Wait, who's that? Wait, is
Mm-hmm.
Queen Charlotte? Who's the king?" Like
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
he's
I
like
thought he would
asking
like this
in
season,
depth
honestly.
like universe questions. And I'm like, you why don't you just sit down?
Right. I know.
He'll
Sit
he'll
down,
watch it with
sir.
Baba, and I'm sure he also wouldn't want to have to wait until like part two anyway. So
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah.
oh, the last thing that I have to say is that I love Mr. Finch and Mr. Dankworth, Prudence and Philippa's
Yeah,
husbands. And I would like a
yeah.
spin-off show of just them going on
Mm-mm.
adventures. And like the show, like the play, like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, which is about like
hmm
those two comedic side characters in Hamlet.
hmm
I would like that, but with Mr. Finch and Mr. Dankworth. I like looked up the name. I was like, what's like Prudence's husband's name? Because I need to know. Dankworth and Finch. Like, let's
Oh
go.
my God, the cheese man and I don't even remember the I guess Dankworth. I don't even
No,
remember him
I
from like
think
the last
he
season.
just popped up. They got married between seasons. He wasn't
Oh,
in the
like
last season.
okay, so we never even
Because
got any of them
because
like courting or
Prudence's
whatever.
storyline the last season was that she was gonna marry like the new Lord Featherington. Like that's what they were
Mm,
trying to arrange. And she even
you're
makes a comment to
right.
that. She's like, he left and
You're
he didn't take
right.
me with him.
Yeah, because she thought that, yeah, but the whole time he was like,
They was like
I
fucking the
am
mom.
into your mom. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Which me too.
Yeah.
No, frankly, like she was my favorite character in season 1. Season
hmm
2, she had a little fall from grace. I think because I was just so
Really?
annoyed that the Featherington storyline was taking up so much of the season. Like
Mm.
I was just like so done.
I feel like
But I
we
still
liked her
liked
though.
her. She was still in the
Yeah.
top 10. She didn't like go to the
hmm
bottom. Like she was still like in my top. This
hmm
season she's back on top. An icon, a legend, the moment.
Truly. What's her name?
Portia.
Portia.
Anyway, on that note, do you have anything else to say?
No.
Okay. I'm looking forward to part 2.
Yeah.
Everyone was making a big stink about how this ends on a cliffhanger. And I was like,
Of course it's gonna end on a cliffhanger. What'd you expect?
no, but also
How would
I
it
guess
not?
like
That's
in
the
the
whole fucking
strictest
point.
definition of a cliffhanger, it ends on a cliffhanger. But also I was like,
It
I'm
really
not like,
doesn't
oh
though.
my God, like what's gonna happen? I was like, yeah, he
hmm
proposed because they just like fucked in a carriage.
Right. It should have, I thought it was gonna end with him discovering she's Lady Whistledown. Like she's gonna walk it, like there's gonna be a parallel of like him walking in on her, opening the letter, opening his like notebook, and there's gonna be a parallel of like her walking in on him, looking up from like her latest like writing, and like they're they like their eyes meet, and he's like, that's what I thought was gonna happen. That's what I thought it was gonna, and then I was gonna black out. That's really the image. That's really the scene I saw in my head.
I do like that they kept the line from the book. Like that's how he proposes in the book.
And that's not really a cliffhanger. That's like almost like the resolution of like what we know is like the main
Yes,
storyline
I
for now.
know.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
But people were like complete. They were like, after that cliffhanger.
Watched it. I just, of course, it's going to be a fucking cliffhanger. What would be the point of part one
I
and part two?
know.
Otherwise, I just,
No, I
unless
don't
like
think they were
generate
surprised that it was a
interest.
cliffhanger, but I think they're like, I just saw people be like, after that cliffhanger, like, what's gonna happen?
Oh, like what could possibly still remain to be resolved? More like, which is kind of an
No, no,
anti-cliffhanger.
no, I don't know.
I really don't. I don't remember Cressida blackmailing anyone in that preview. I remember Eloise being like, "You better fucking tell Colin, or I'm going to
She
tell him."
doesn't. We don't get it in the preview. In the
Oh, then what are you
preview, the
talking
only
about?
thing I'm saying in the book, Cressida
I know,
blackmails
I
her.
know,
In
I
the
know.
preview, the reason that I think that they may still be gearing up to keep that plot line is because one, we get that voiceover of like someone offering 5,000 pounds for the identity of Lady Whistledown.
What was the queen?
It could be the queen.
Oh, I get what you're saying. So like you think she
And
needs
there's
it.
like a flash. There's like a brief like cut into Cressida of her like looking over her shoulder with like a kind of scheming look on her face.
Yes, you mean to get that 32-bedroom house in Pimlico.
I hope so. But I feel like Lord Devling, unfortunately, is probably gonna be like I don't think
Down
he's
for the
gonna make a
count. That's
reappearance,
sad.
unfortunately.
That's really sad.
Um,
But an eligible gay man.
vegan icon.
hmm
And dead and soon dead and leaving all of his
I
wealth.
know. He's gonna be dead. It could have been to Penelope. She already has enough money that she could have run away by herself if she
Yeah, she
wanted to.
doesn't need it.
I'm just really confused why he's even mad about like the Colin thing, frankly. Like, is he just like, oh, like I don't want a bastard?
Yeah, I think that was the implication.
Okay. He's like, I thought you were gay. Like, why are you like fucking me over like
Why are
this?
you like this? Thought we were
Yeah.
on the same
I thought we
page.
were
I
on the
thought
same
this was
page.
gonna be a
Yeah.
lavender marriage.
Right.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
No. Oh my God, wait, sorry. I just remember the fucking hot air balloon scene.
That
Did
was
you
so
also
stupid.
think that was
Yeah.
incredibly silly?
It was really, really silly.
The fact that she just runs in a straight line, trips, she's gonna be crushed by this hot air balloon. And Colin, like there's supposed to be like a sexy forearm scene of him like saving her. But I'm just like, this is just silly. Why is
It's
it?
so silly.
But also a missed opportunity. Why the fuck didn't they fuck in the hot air balloon? That's what I thought. That's what I was expecting. You can't
really?
bring me a hot air balloon and not
Right. It's
have
really giving
something
Chekhov's
happen.
gun. Yeah.
Like I need some sort of romantic sunset ride. I need something to happen in the hot air balloon. Anyway, R.I.P. Lord Debling. At least he never lives to see the great auk go extinct. Hey, Catskill to come. Hey, Rachel, where can they find us?
No.
Well,
paused. Allison, they can find, sorry, I was thinking caca. They can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and I don't know, I haven't done Facebook. Who's something on Facebook?
We get some people on Facebook.
We read it one night.
Twitter. We
read it podcast.
Yes. Email.
We read it one night at gmail.com.
And where they can support us.
Leave us a review.
And also
a rating.
And also
I have no idea what scheme you have cooked up.
The Etsy.
Oh yeah, the Etsy. Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Evelyn and Adelaide. Check it out. Godspeed, comrades.
Godspeed.